Right now, while you're sitting there watching this video, your brain is quietly shrinking. It's true. After age 30, the average human brain loses volume every single year, especially in the areas responsible for memory. But here's what almost nobody tells you. There's a simple, ordinary activity that can slow that shrinkage down, sharpen your focus within minutes, and flood your brain with mood-boosting chemicals more effectively than most supplements on the market. It's not a pill, it's not a diet, it's a bicycle. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly what happens inside your skull when you make cycling a daily habit, and why neuroscientists are calling it one of the most powerful tools we have for a sharper, calmer, more resilient mind. Cycling feels simple. You hop on, you pedal, you get to somewhere. But underneath that simplicity, something remarkable is happening in your brain. Every rotation of the pedals sends signals racing through your nervous system, pumps oxygen-rich blood into regions tied to memory and decision-making, and triggers a cascade of chemicals that scientists have spent decades studying. This isn't vague wellness talk. It's measurable, repeatable science, and it applies whether you're cycling to work, riding for fun on the weekend, or training seriously. In this video, we're breaking down 5 specific ways daily cycling reshapes your brain, covering memory, focus, mood, stress, and long-term brain health. Some of what you're about to learn might change the way you think about your daily commute. So let's get into it. Let's start with memory, because this is where the research gets genuinely exciting. Deep inside your brain sits a small, seahorse-shaped structure called the hippocampus. It's essentially your memory's command center, responsible for forming new memories and helping you navigate the world. Here's the problem. The hippocampus is one of the few brain regions that can actually shrink with age, and that shrinkage is closely linked to memory decline. Now here's where cycling comes in. Aerobic exercise, and cycling in particular, has been shown to increase levels of a protein called brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often shortened to BDNF. Think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain. It supports the growth of new neurons and strengthens the connections between existing ones, particularly in the hippocampus. Researchers have found that people who cycle regularly tend to have a larger hippocampal volume compared to those who are sedentary. In some studies, older adults who took up regular aerobic exercise, including cycling, actually reversed a portion of age-related hippocampal shrinkage over the course of just 1 year. That's not slowing decline, that's growth. So, if you've ever felt like a good bike ride clears your head and somehow makes information stick better afterward, that's not in your imagination. Your brain is quite literally building new infrastructure for memory every time you ride. Now let's talk about focus, because this is the benefit most people notice first. Often within the same day they start riding. When you cycle, your heart rate rises, and that means more oxygenated blood gets pumped throughout your entire body, including your brain. Specifically, blood flow increases to the prefrontal cortex, the region right behind your forehead that handles planning, concentration, and decision-making. This is the same part of your brain you rely on to power through a deadline or stay locked in during a difficult conversation. Studies using brain imaging have shown that after a session of moderate aerobic exercise, people perform noticeably better on tasks that require sustained attention and quick decision-making, and this effect can last for several hours afterward. It's sometimes called the afterglow effect of exercise. There's also a fascinating balance angle here. Cycling, especially outdoors or on uneven terrain, requires constant micro-adjustments in balance and spatial awareness, which activates the cerebellum and keeps your brain engaged in a way that passive activities simply don't. Many people who switch from driving to cycling as their commute report feeling noticeably sharper for the first hour or two of their workday. If you've ever wondered why some of your best ideas show up mid-ride, this is likely why. An active, well-oxygenated brain is a more creative brain. Here's where things get emotional, in the best possible way. You've probably heard of the so-called runner's high, but cycling produces a very similar effect, sometimes called a cyclist's high. During sustained aerobic exercise, your brain releases endorphins, natural chemicals that reduce the perception of pain and create feelings of euphoria. But endorphins are only part of the story. Cycling also boosts levels of serotonin, a neurotransmitter closely tied to feelings of well-being and emotional stability, and dopamine, which is involved in motivation and reward. This combination is powerful. Multiple studies have found that regular aerobic exercise, including cycling, can reduce symptoms of mild to moderate depression, in some cases showing effects comparable to standard treatments over the course of several weeks. And you don't need an intense hour-long ride to feel a mood lift. Research suggests that even short, moderate rides of 20 to 30 minutes can noticeably improve mood and reduce feelings of anxiety within that same day. There's also a social and environmental layer to this. Riding outside exposes you to natural light, which supports healthy circadian rhythms and vitamin D production, both of which play a role in emotional regulation. So when you finish a ride and feel that unmistakable sense of calm satisfaction, that's not just relief that the workout is over. That's your brain chemistry actively working in your favor. Stress doesn't just live in your mind, it lives in your body, largely governed by a hormone called cortisol. When you're chronically stressed, cortisol levels stay elevated for too long, and that can interfere with sleep, memory, immune function, and even contribute to that persistent shrinkage of the hippocampus we talked about earlier. This is where cycling becomes especially powerful. Moderate aerobic exercise has been shown to help regulate cortisol levels over time, essentially training your body to bounce back from stress more efficiently. Interestingly, a single hard ride does briefly raise cortisol, which is completely normal, but consistent, regular cycling over weeks and months lowers your baseline stress response. Your nervous system essentially becomes more resilient. There's also a rhythmic, meditative quality to cycling that researchers believe contributes to this effect. The repetitive motion of pedaling, combined with steady breathing, can shift your nervous system out of the fight-or-flight state and into a calmer, parasympathetic state. Many cyclists describe entering a flow-like mental space during longer rides, where racing thoughts quiet down and present moment awareness takes over. That's not just a nice feeling, it's an active form of stress recovery happening in real time inside your brain. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture, because the daily benefits we've covered are really building towards something much larger over a lifetime. Regular aerobic exercise, including cycling, is consistently associated with a lower risk of age-related cognitive decline and, in multiple long-term studies, a reduced risk of developing dementia later in life. Researchers believe this comes down to a combination of everything we've already discussed: improved blood flow, elevated BDNF, supporting new neural connections, reduced chronic inflammation, and better cardiovascular health, which directly protects the delicate blood vessels feeding your brain. There's also growing interest in something called cognitive reserve, essentially your brain's ability to keep functioning well, even as some age-related changes occur. Physically active people, including regular cyclists, tend to build stronger cognitive reserve over decades, which may help delay noticeable symptoms of decline, even if underlying changes are present. This doesn't mean cycling is a guaranteed shield against every brain-related condition. Genetic, diet, sleep, and overall lifestyle all play a role too. But the evidence consistently points in one direction. Making cycling a regular part of your life is one of the most accessible, low-cost investments you can make in your brain's future. Quick pause here. If you're finding this useful, take 2 seconds and hit that subscribe button. We're covering the science behind everyday habits like this every week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. All right, let's keep going. So let's bring it all together. Every time you get on a bike, you're doing far more than getting from point A to point B or burning calories. You're feeding your hippocampus, sharpening your prefrontal cortex, flooding your system with mood-lifting chemicals, training your stress response to recover faster, and investing in decades of future cognitive health. And the best part is that you don't need to be an elite athlete to get these benefits. Research consistently shows that moderate, consistent riding, even just 20 to 30 minutes a day, is enough to start seeing real changes. So here's a simple challenge this week. Try riding just 3 times, even for short distances, and pay attention to how your focus, mood, and stress levels shift. Your brain will notice, even if you don't right away. If this video gave you a new appreciation for something as simple as riding a bike, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more evidence-based content on health and the brain, and drop a comment letting me know what topic you want us to break down next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.